Good morning, everybody. It's, day 4 of our sourdough starter. And I've already been outside. It is early. And, well, I guess it's 7:30 here. But I was outside at 6:30 feeding the animals. And I got busy in the greenhouse. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go in there and make a video. So my apologies. Okay, so here we are at day 4. And it's easy peasy. It's a repeat of yesterday. 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water into 100 grams of our starter. So let's get started. All right, let's see here. Let me get a spatula and a spoon. I didn't have that ready. No, can't use a fork. Let me see. I haven't put my dishes away yet, so here we are. I'm real life here. Okay, here we go. Here's the starter from yesterday. I want you to see the bubbles in it all the way around. That means it is fermenting. It is alive. There are bubbles inside there. You'll see that it's nice and spongy, elasticy, and it's doing good. Now at this point, it may have more of a sour flavor, but remember we're making sourdough. If you've ever smelled sourdough bread, you'll know that it has its own unique fragrance and taste. So don't be alarmed. But if you do smell something that is bad and you know it's bad, you probably would see mold. But we don't have any mold in this. But if you see anything like that, then you're going to have to throw it away and start all over. So I think it's really rare if you do see something like that. I wouldn't know what situations it could be, but it can happen. So I'm not going to discount that, believe me, at all. Okay, so let me put the tripod down. Again, we have clean ball jar. We're going to go ahead and put it on our scale, tare it back to 0, and we are going to weigh out 100 grams. And it's nice and fluffy. Now you can hear the leavening part of this forming. I don't want to say yeast because it's not yeast, although it captures wild yeast. You can hear it almost like when you're baking bread with yeast. You can hear and feel the leavening part of it. Okay, we'll get down to 100 here. Now we're going to have a lot to pour off again today. Okay, there we are. Okay, now we have quite a lot of pour off today, as you can see. Now that's going to go into my compost as it did yesterday. Like I said, you can put it in your compost. You can put it in your trash can. I've heard of some people putting it down their drain. I wouldn't do that because I will tell you, it does become hard. It can become like a hard flour and water. Well, if you've ever played with flour and water as a kid, you know it can get kind of hard. So I don't do that. We have a septic tank. Some people say it's great for it because it's a living organism at this point. So clearly up to you. I'm not going to say yay or nay because I really don't know, but that's just my opinion. Okay, we're going to tare back to 100. And we are going to pour distilled water. And I went to Dollar General yesterday and just got a thing of distilled water. This is at room temperature. And again, my house is warm. Willis is home, so it's always warm. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put 100 grams of water. Well, you know what? I didn't put the flour in yet, but it's going to be 100. Well, we'll do that because I don't want to go off of what I'm doing. All right, so we'll put 100 grams of flour in. It doesn't really matter what how you put your water and flour in. with your starter, but I do start with the starter because I find it's easier even when I'm baking bread and I have to weigh it out and feed it. Okay, we're going to go for 100 here. And we are at 100. Got a little bit on the side there. Okay. And it does matter if you've got flour that's fallen on your scale, it will matter. Not greatly if it's just like 1 or something like that, but if it's 10 and you're thinking, well, it's not inside here, it's weighing, so you're actually minus 10 inside your jar, if that makes sense. Okay, we're going to tare back to 0 again, and now we're going to put 100 grams of distilled lukewarm or warm water, room temperature water in here. Okay, and there we are. We're at 100. Okay, here we go. Everything's in here. You can see the flour, the water, and the starter at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and mix just like I did yesterday. And it will be thick. But you can tell when you are using your, weighing out your starter in the mornings like we have been, how loose it becomes. Because it's fermenting and it's capturing those lovely wild yeast that are out there in our air naturally, which is pretty cool, I think. Alrighty, and just trying to get some of this off of here. Okay. Again, I don't have the prettiest jars in the world. Sorry about that. I know a lot of people do. I wish I was one of them. Just going to go ahead and mix around. I'm going to pick up my jar, look around, make sure there's no flour bits that I can see that haven't been mixed with the water and the starter. And you want to make sure that you got everything mixed with that starter in the bottom too. Okay, there we go. And that is it for day 4. Again, we are going to put our lid on, leave in just a little air gap, and we're going to store it in a place that is 75 to 80 degrees. 75 is what I've been storing mine at, mine at over here on the stove. I haven't had my coffee yet, so excuse me. Okay, I can survive. I've got a nice clean towel this morning, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it over here on the stove under the light. Stove's pretty warm because we've made breakfast and we had the coffee is still warm. So that's it, day 4, guys. All right, tomorrow will be a little bit different, and I'll see you then. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.